Hey everybody, it's Fradum, and I just was going through my system and wondering, what do you guys use to back up your Linux system? I know it's not something that a lot of us really like to think about, and a lot of people probably don't even do backups. Well, in the past, I've always subscribed to something like Dropbox. I used to do their 1 terabyte, I think it was, data storage, and then I would use rsync to sync up all my data to the Dropbox directory. That I would consider that my backups, but the flaw in that is basically I end up with 2 copies of the data on my hard drive. So it didn't scale very well. But I did it for years. I was a full paying member of Dropbox for a long time. But one day I finally realized that it just was not a really good way to do backups, even though their data retention is reliable. It was taking up too much space. My current system, there's no solid state drives. It's all SSDs. I have about 1 terabyte worth of storage. And also I have a NAS drive, networked attached storage, for those of you who are not familiar with that, made by Buffalo. It's not a very expensive one. The one I have is called the Buffalo Link Station 220. I think I paid like $150 for it on Amazon without drives. And then I bought 2 Western Digital Red 3 terabyte drives. Now the Red series drives are slower and meant for reliability, and they're ideal for RAID redundancy and for network attached storage. So I end up paying a little bit more for that. My second backup solution was to have this NAS drive running in RAID 1, so that if one of the drives failed, I could put another one in. I don't know if this NAS supports hot swap or not, but it doesn't matter. So I was pretty happy with that idea. That gave me a total of about 3 terabytes of storage, and as long as I did incremental backups and not, full backups every time, then I would probably not run out of space. So this was the solution I lived with for a while, and then one day I started thinking, what if my NAS drive exploded or something happened? What if my house burned down, or someone robbed my house and took this little shiny black box that's sitting on a shelf? So I was thinking, the best solution is offsite backup. I didn't know where to look for offsite backup. I've seen some in the Windows world are pretty nice and fairly affordable. But I don't run Windows. None of my computers in my house are Windows. Everybody runs Linux except for my wife, who runs Mac. So basically that's a Unix core underneath system anyways. So I did some researching, a lot of Googling and talking to friends that use Linux, and I found, out of all the cloud storage solutions, the one I found that I decided to try, and so far I've been using it for 6 months and I've been very, very happy with, is CrashPlan. They have a daemon that runs in the background when on boot. It's a startup task, so you never have to worry about it. They have a nice GUI interface. You can use the web interface. This is their website here. And by the way, this is not a sponsored video. I have no association with them. I'm not getting any discounts or anything. I just really like their product, so I won't review a product unless I really, really like it. So you get this nice GUI interface that tells you how much space you backed up, when the last backup was, how long it lasted, basically everything you'd want to know about backing up your system. And I have it set up to back up to CrashPlan Central, which is the cloud storage. And then you can also back up your data to a friend's computer if they're running the same client. So if you want to distribute your backups across, say, a network of friends, so say like you have 4 or 5 friends out there and they're all running CrashPlan, even the free version, you can have parts of your data get kind of distributed out there so that it's always available and you can restore right from that. I mean, you're going to have to arrange with your friends to do it. You can't do it without their permission. I'm not using that feature, but I do think that's really cool. Or you can do another computer. So if you, like in my case, I have 4 Linux computers running almost all day, every day. My son's computer is always running. My other son's computer is always running. I have a Mindtest server that's always running, and then my workstation's always running. I know it sounds wasteful, but I do find that when I'm at work or out and about, that getting into my machine is something I need to do often. I could technically set up this crash plan software on all the Linux boxes and probably even my wife's Macintosh and distribute the backups amongst all of them. But that's still on-site backups, so that doesn't really solve my original question, which is what's the best solution for off-site backups. In the old days, and some places still do this, they would back up to tape, physically remove the tape, and go store it in a vault or an off-site location. And that is still something that is common today in some businesses, so it's not uncommon. I like the cloud solution. The initial setup of this took, probably about 4 or 5 days to back up my data, so it's not going to hog your bandwidth all at once to do your initial backup. It does an incremental backup over time. As you can probably see on the screen here, I have a total of 1.2 terabytes of data. The plan that I have is about $100 a year. I think, I can't remember, it was 6 months ago. And it's unlimited data. So I could fill up my 3 terabyte NAS and it'll still back it up. And that was also something I checked into and I felt was important. This license I have is for one computer. But my question to them, and it's even in their FAQ, is if I was going to back up my network attached storage, how could I do that? And their answer is if it's mounted and can be seen on your current system, then the crash plan software considers it part of that local machine. So I can back up everything to the NAS and not worry about local disk storage, and then as long as my NAS is mounted on my computer, then it will back up everything in my NAS. And if you've seen in some of my other videos, you'll probably notice I have a NAS directory in my home directory, and that's where I'm keeping all my data. I basically use the terabyte of storage on my workstation for games, nothing important, things I can re-download off of Steam if I need to, or I use it for temporary scratch space for when I'm creating videos. Once my videos are done, I move them to the NAS, and then they're no longer on my local storage. I can still access them over gigabit Ethernet. It's, you can play 1080p 60 frames with no problem over that. I mean, you can play it over a crappy 100 megabit internet connection, so it works. So this system here, I think, is, like, in my opinion, one of the best systems for backing up on Linux. And you can selectively say, okay, I don't want to back something up anymore, but here's my whole directory tree. So I got a home in my home directory. So I'm not backing up the root directories, I don't think. But here's all my stuff. It's there. And then you'll see I have my NAS. And you'll see in my NAS I have all my backups for, let's see, Burford. What is that? I think that was my old laptop. I don't have it anymore. Old Dropbox. I canceled my Dropbox. I don't even use it anymore. I run on my Mindtest server. I run my cloud. So if I need files, some kind of file distribution system similar to Dropbox, I have my own now. So I do that. I keep my ISO images of the current version of Linux I'm running or whatever I need. So I just basically, this solution works and it runs in the background. I've never seen a load spike. Now, granted, I have not had to restore anything yet, and that will be a test when the time comes. I should play around with it and just see how it goes, but from what I've read, it's really simple and totally intuitive. It's just like, oh, there's the file, click it, select restore type thing. So I got backups will run always, verify selection every 1 day, frequency, so you can configure everything. There's my account information. I'll probably have to blur something out on this page, I'm sure. Security, my account password, require account password to access. So I don't use a password there because it only runs on my computer. And then my network information. Here's the backup history. So if I wanted to make sure a backup ran, I can look through my history based on time and date. So you can see most of my, well, it seems to run every 12 hours or so. So 11 a.m., 12 p.m., 1 p.m. So it runs throughout the day. I wonder if it probably runs when the system's idle. Now see, here's an error on the 5th. That's today, I think. Unable to back up one file next attempt within 15 minutes. So that was 10:07 and it's 10:31 and I don't see a follow-up error. So it must have got it. It'd be nice if I could drill down and see what file that was. I guess it does have its flaws. So if I had friends that I was gonna do friends backup thing, this is where you would set it up. Destinations is where you tell it where you want your backups to be set up. Oh, and you can do multiples. You can do all 3 if you want. You can have it go to all of your friends. You can have it go to all your computers on your network. You can have it go to a folder on your computer. So if I wanted to use this software to back everything up to my NAS, I could just say back up my whole system to the NAS, or you can do the cloud. So you can select all of them. You're not just limited to one. So you could have 4 backup solutions running at once with the software. And to me, that's just a really nice feature. And so here's a list of my computers, folders, and cloud. So anyways, I just wanted to share this information. This is one of those things a lot of home users probably don't think about, backups and restores. And when you're doing a lot of data, especially since I started doing YouTube, I haven't been even doing it for quite a year yet. I have over 102 files, 102 videos that I've uploaded to YouTube in 9 months. So I want to keep those. I don't want to just delete them once I'm done, and I don't want to download them from YouTube because they compress and you don't get the same quality that you had when you uploaded it. So I like to have my raw original files on my drive if I need to access them again for whatever reason. So this is a good solution for it. So I just want to share that with you, and I highly recommend it. Most distributions have this in their repositories. I know, what was it? Linux Mint has it in there, and even Arch Linux has it. You don't even have to download the software from their site. You can install it, play with it. They have a free trial for the cloud backup for a month. See if you like it. If you don't pay for it. If you do, then buy it. It's worth it. It's, I was paying the same amount of money for a terabyte of data on Dropbox anyways, so this is unlimited data. Can't beat unlimited. Now granted, I do have a few 100 gigs of space on Google, but that's because I bought a Chromebook. I ended up with 100 gigs. I bought some other Google product and ended up with 100 gigs. But I've never really used that up either, so, and they don't even have a client. They don't have an official client for Google Drive for Linux. But still, it's that same concept with those types of services, that you're duplicating the data and then it's just syncing it up to the cloud. So you have twice the data, where this is a legitimate real backup solution. And it beats my old way of doing rsyncs, rsyncing, tarring. For MySQL, I would do MySQL dumps and tar, and it was crazy. You should see the script. Someday maybe I'll publish it. I'll put it on Git, but it's so horribly loaded doing all different types of backups that I don't think I really want to put it out there. But my bash script that ran all my backups every night, it also did remote connections to my server that my website's running on and would back that stuff up. I'm still kind of doing that part, but instead of everything being in one big tarball, I just literally do an rsync, a remote rsync to a directory on my NAS drive, and then it gets backed up on CrashPlan. Anyways, so that's it. If you like this video, please thumbs up. And I hope you found this information useful. And I hope you have a great night. Thanks a lot for watching, and take care. Bye-bye.